Alright, you guys, welcome back. So, in the previous video, we talked about how I ended up in a crisis. If you don't know, you can watch this video that I'm gonna link in the description or maybe on the video itself. I'm gonna give a quick TLDR. So basically, I realized that I am not focusing enough on the details, but rather than the big picture, and that brings me in trouble. If I'm not gonna work it on now, that will be trouble later on, and that's why I want to expand on this and what I worked on. So yeah, please sit tight and enjoy. So if you don't know what this is about, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment if you want to see me make a 600 today within 7 years, because that's one of my goals. I want to make 600 today within 7 years, and that's what we're going for. So last time I gave a quick TLDR already, and I want to extend on what happened, what we did, and so forth. So this video is gonna be named something facing the devil or something like that, because there's no more nothing more to be afraid or nothing to fear anymore. So I realized that when I was working on my goals, like I'm 100 plus videos in, everything seemed fine, at least when I'm talking to you. And I did everything that I actually said I did. Some goals weren't achieved, but that's fine. That can always happen. That was not the main issue. The issue is that I was missing the details, therefore my foundation was not good, and therefore I was cheating myself. And if I'm gonna do that shortcut after shortcut after shortcut, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna also treat my upcoming business like that. And I feel like if my personal life, I'm not gonna say like 100% great, my personal life flows over into my business life, I will be in trouble. And I do not want that. I don't want, it's not because that I will have a rough start or anything, but it is unnecessary. And I gave you a graph in that video. I might link it into the thumbnail or not. But basically, there's like an amplitude or a cosinus or a wavelength, or whatever you want to call it. And the top point, that will be my highest, and like everything is good, I'm in a good mood, let's get it, 120%, whatever these people are saying nowadays. And the other one is just, yeah, I'm doing it. But you're doing it like 40%, 60%. That's okay for like, sometimes you're on a low curve, that's okay. But this should not be the boundary consistently. Like the boundary should actually resonate more. It should go up. But I didn't feel like it was going up. I was hitting the top point and I was hitting a low point. And for the consistent of 100 plus videos, I've noticed the trend that no matter how hard I try to have that consistency, it was, I'm not talking about consistent making hours or be 100% productive and all focus, all in. That's not what I'm talking about. But just engaged, like fully engaged in the foundation, into the detail. That is what was missing. So I decided to be more OCD about it. And that sounds maybe ridiculous when I say that. But I have big goals, so I better get OCD about it. Like everyone has this panic number and everyone has this like relaxed number. Like, and that's not what I'm talking about. I want to make sure that, like, let's assume it's 3 a.m. and I'm sleeping, and I realize like, hey, if I don't do this right now, we fucked up. I would just wake up and do it. That kind of OCD is what I'm talking about. So, the next one is mood management. So when you are living in a city, and you might experience this as well, so listen up if you live in the city, if you're still listening actually, like it doesn't matter. I'm just making it video as a accountability for myself, but also accountability for others. That is my goal, next to making 600 a within 7 years. My mood management, I'm pretty happy overall, but I noticed that mostly external stuff is dragging me down. So I have to protect my mood, I have to protect my impressions, and I have to protect my incentives, especially early on in the day. So what will happen is I will wake up, I will walk the dog, see all the bullshit, trash cans everywhere, all slaughtered, weird people, drunk, walking some like at whatever time. Um, by the time that I come back, I've been cut off 3 times just by walking my dog because I live in the capital city. And then you come back, and then you be like, already a lot has happened. And then I need to go on my desk and do my stuff. That's not how I want to start my day. Well, one of the things were like, oh, get rid of your dog, then you don't have this problem. Well, capital cities have a way to come enter your house to bring you problems. So that is like, it could be an email. I'm gonna tell you the story. I remember one time I was sleeping over at a friend's house, and it was like 7:30 a.m. and that guy got the phone, he looked at it, and he was full panic mode. I'm not gonna tell you about what it is. I was like, is that really necessary at 7:30 a.m.? Now I just talk about like waking up at 3 a.m. and fixing something. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about things that do not matter in a moment, that do not matter, like, um, do not matter. Like it's going to, there's a difference between treating your personal life and business than treating you as an employee or at school. Like the people that have experienced both, they know what I'm talking about. You can cheat yourself way into school, but you cannot cheat yourself in your personal life and business. Apparently, right? Because I've been taking shortcuts, right? But this is my truth, right? This is my opinion. And I noticed, coming back to the story, I noticed that guy was full panic mode all day. It ruined his day. I'm like, why? And I'm a pretty relaxed guy. I don't get easily offended. But these external disadvantages, these external impressions that are completely unnecessary, that are your triggers, I would say, they build up, they stack, and eventually you will, like, even if you're the most chilled guy ever with the long hair and I'm the guitar guy and whatever. Maybe you're the most quiet, most zen, maybe you're meditating. Eventually it will build up, man. Eventually it will click over the day. You will have less focus, less engagement. And you can get it back somewhere during the day. You have to, first of all, you have to be mentally strong for that. Second of all, maybe meditating works that way for you in the afternoon as well. But eventually you're tired. And if you're going to be tired before you start, you're not engaged. You're cheating yourself. At least I feel like I did. So I have to be very conscious. So what I'm going to do about it? Well, I'm not going to tell you especially my schedule, but I am the person that said, this is what I believed in. This is one of my confirmation bias. It does not matter when you wake up. The day starts as soon as you wake up. Now, there's some truth to that, because there are people at the 4 a.m., 5 a.m. club that have really toxic behaviors just because they want to be that, and they keep failing over and over and over. And but for people, usually people say the why is not right, but what I'm trying to say here is you should protect your mood and your incentives. So how would I do that? Well, in a city, I tested it for 2 days now. I'm not sure. I could walk anywhere, anytime. There were some taxis, there were some bikers, but there was no one annoying me. No annoying dogs off leash without collar or how do you call this, harness, right? People that have the leash like, oh, if this dog just pull one more time, I will fall on the ground. Or just people that the dog is like 100 meter further away and they forgot that they actually had a dog, and then the dogs come at you challenging you. Or just walking by the people smoke so much that you just get like, bro, I just didn't want to walk there, but I have to. These things do not happen at 6 a.m. They are not there. And I'm not about like the early worm get the bird guy. I'm not a guy. But if that protects my incentives, impressions, and makes me not cheat myself as much, I would do that. Another example. In the evening, I will prepare, um, put things from the freezer. I'm gonna prepare a little bit for tomorrow and make a schedule and something. No, not doing that anymore because you're already in a tired mode. You're already doing that. I'm doing that as soon as I am done with the shit I need to do. Immediate difference. Immediate. And this is not like a trick, like, oh, I'm gonna grab this trick and go. Build your foundation. Also talking to myself, right? Like, I'm not also talking to you, I'm also talking to myself. You need to build a foundation. So, let me see what I've. Oh, yeah, one other thing. So, I feel like when I'm waking up later, even if it's the same amount of time, I've and even when I'm taking, there are two approaches. Let me start with the first one. Even when I wake up and have the same amount of time to do stuff, which I did, I was still pressure minded. I think that's a good way. There was still some time pressure. Oh, you need to do it then, and you need to do it now, and you need to do it this way and that way, because then you will be done early, then you can relax. But in the other way, I forgot the other way already, but basically, there was some pressure with the, yeah, there was a pressure with the amount of time, and I do not understand why. I have 7 years. And I'm not going to say, oh, you can do it slow. That's not what I'm saying. I have 7 years. What am I pressured about? You should rather build a foundation first and focus on the details first before you're gonna do the shortcuts and the cheating. Because why does the pressure matter? Because the pressure makes you take shortcuts and earlier than you should, but then you will have cracks in your foundation. Even though you take shortcut, it works, but eventually it will crack earlier than other houses that had a solid foundation. So I don't want to say like when I'm taking shortcuts, like usually this works at school. Like when you're out of school, you need to study, and you're not fully engaged. That's okay. You just learn the tricks, you learn this and that, you learn to make questions, and you'll pass the exam. I'm putting it very simple, but obviously when you get to university and masters and PhD, it has to be. It's way more complex when I'm what I just said. But you can cheat your way out, like quotes. Real life, if you're gonna be like you're lazy, when I'm saying cheat your way out, I mean like you can be lazy, but if you take the right amount of shortcuts, right amount of learning, you can pass. And there are lots of videos on YouTube like this one thing. Oh, if you learn this, like all these catchy quotes. That's okay. Like shortcuts and tips, I'm very happy that other one figured it out. But if there's no foundation, you do all these tricks, and they're gonna ask you for example, I'm doing web development, right? And later on, I'm gonna go to an interview, and the person may be gonna ask me, "What is a div? How are you gonna center a div?" I'm like, "Oh well, you can do it with Flexbox." Okay, show me. Well, I showed one. Well, show me two more. Okay, when you have grid. Well, what's the other one? Well, you can do with absolutes, left 0, transform, translate, minus 50%. It's because I know because I focus on the foundation. But if you ask someone that does Webflow and never has touched HTML, CSS for a long period of time, they learned Flexbox. But the other two, I'm like, what? You don't know how to center a div? Where's the foundation, man? So, you can be lazy, but it has to. You will stay at this wavelength, the ups and downs, but the amplitude, the wavelength has to go up. So your standard of your low point has to go up. Like in a year, I want my lowest point to now to be my highest point, probably. And my highest point was something I cannot even imagine right now. So I'm trying to clean up my mess mentally and physically as well. So protecting yourself. So one of the ways is make also I'm talking about externally about the house and those kinds of stuff. Also in the last video I talk about leakage, broken door, heater broken, you name it, it happened in this home because it's a high maintenance home, so I get out of here. I'm gonna move. That's what I said. But it's also other things, like where you place stuff at the home. They do matter. It's the little details that stack up. And now I sound like some kind of someone that has a mental disorder, or like people will disagree. Maybe if you're artistic and you disagree that it's a mental disorder, that's fine, but I will classify it for now. Or maybe other stuff like OCD. You're too specific with the details, right? That's the other side of the story. If you're too specific, then you cannot grow because the foundation is flat, but no one wants to walk on it. So to sum it up, this video, I'm working on that. I'm gonna work on way more detail until the foundation is gone and done, and then I'm gonna grow. So yeah, that is basically it for this video. I'm gonna keep you updated. This is gonna be like a crisis diary. Maybe it's gonna be a couple episodes. I'm not gonna do a lot of them. This one is quickly after the other one because a lot has happened. I've been doing a lot of thinking and adjusting, and yeah, gonna round this video off. Thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe, like, a comment if you want to see me making 600 today within 7 years. And yeah, that is it for today. Thank you so much.